To everybody.
Yeah, good morning. My name's Grant Smith. I've been on the board for 7 years. I have an 8-year-old son with PKU, and after the diagnosis and all the emotions that came, with it, I wanted to get involved, and so I did. And I've been on the board ever since. I'm the president now, and I'll be president next year, and then probably stroll off into the sunset. But it's been really worthwhile. And if you ever want to, learn more or get more involved, we're always looking for board members. I know we just got here, but that's my introduction. The goal of today is to help you get over this first hurdle, because we've all been here. Everyone who's not a vendor, who you're going to meet on the board, either has PKU or has children with it. So that's it.
Thank you, Grant. We also have Nick Ferguson, our vice president.
Yeah, hello. This is my second year on the board. I'm in Oak Park, Illinois, and I have PKU, and I have a 1.5-year-old daughter. So I think combined we can give some insight here. And yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you, Nick. Donna File, secretary.
Hi, good morning. I'm new to the PKU board. I have 2 grandchildren with PKU, Julia and Jonathan, 5 and 6. And I'm here to learn about PKU and assist everyone as much as I can to help grow the organization and to get the word out and support our PKU families. And I am Megan's mother. Thank you.
Thank you. Now for my quick introduction. My name is Megan Fido. Donna is my mom, and I am the treasurer on the board, which is kind of a new learning for me, as my background is in education. I work for the public school system in Chicago. I also had received a new endorsement last year in regards to 504 plans and IEPs to kind of help our parents and help myself and others that need that help for PKU. And I have 2 kids, a 5 and a 6-year-old, both with PKU. And I hope to obviously learn more and be able to help others in the community. And we also next have Sean Haney, our NPKU rep.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. My name is Sean. I am a 26-year-old with PKU. I first got involved with the board, I think 3 years ago, after I wrapped up my undergrad at U of I down in Champaign. I wanted to just get more involved because I had some more time finally. I was outside of school and really enjoy interacting with young kids and parents of young children with PKU and being able to just kind of use what experience I've garnered throughout my life to help guide others. So looking forward to speaking with you all today.
Hey, Sean, why don't you tell everyone what you're doing now?
So I go to University of Illinois College of Medicine in Chicago right now. I'm a second-year medical student. So it's nice to be able to be on this call and take a little break from studying.
Thank you, Sean. Is Eric on? Let's see. All right, we also have Eric Halverstein. He is our webpage editor. He is unable to make it today, but him and his wife, Melinda was also on the board last year, and she had rolled off. And then they also have a son with PKU. And let's see, who else is on the call? Mary Lonsky is our honorary member. Mary, you want to say hello to everyone?
Hello, everyone. I had PKU, was diagnosed at the age of 1.5, but there was no testing like there is today, which is good. And I'm a board member. I've been on the board for 8 years already. And I love getting involved with PKU stuff. It's a passion of mine, next to my heart. And selling ribbons is part of that.
Thank you, Mary. Also on the call, we have Sue Shishim. She is the social worker clinic representative on the board from Lurie.
So anyway, the New Parent Cafe is one of my favorite events. I just remember meeting at the grounds of Hope Cafe and seeing all of you guys, and people would always bake some really good low protein muffins or treats, and we'd have a great cooking demonstration. And seeing all the vendors were also wonderful. So anyway, I know this is so different this year, Zooming in virtually, but I'm glad we still had the opportunity to connect today. I am a social worker with Ann Kozik, who's also here at Lurie, and just really happy to be a part of this board and helping in any way I can as a social worker.
Thank you, Sue. Ann, can you introduce yourself as well?
Hi, I'm Ann Kozak. I am the newest dietitian now for 10 months at Lurie. However, I have experience, my career started at UIC where I was the dietitian there in genetics about 18 rough years. Then I did a little bit of time in early intervention where I developed my skills to be a feeding therapist. Then in January this year, I joined the team at Lurie with, to go back to my love of genetics along with my new love of feeding therapy. And as shortly after I was back on board, Sue came to me and said, "You've been on the board before. Why don't you come back?" So here I am. Glad to be here.
Thank you, Ann. And Katie Engel, also a clinic representative at UIC.
So I am one of 4 dietitians at the University of Illinois in Chicago, and I'm happy to be here today.
Thank you, Katie. All right, that takes care of the board. I don't think I missed anyone that was on the call, hopefully. And we also want to know now who else is on the call. We have some new parents that came and visited us. So if you mind coming off mute and telling us who you are, your name, where you're from, and your connection to PKU. And lastly, what you hope to get out of New Parent Cafe today.
Well, Nicole, why don't you start? If that's all right.
Hi, my name's Nicole. Hi, everyone. This is Peter, my husband, and this is Jack.
Hello, Jack.
Hi. He's 13 weeks old and he's got PKU. We live in Chicago, and we really hope to just kind of connect with other parents who whose children have PKU and just learn a lot more about PKU and kind of what that means for Jack and for our family and what we can do to kind of better support him now and in the future.
All right, how's it going so far? How's the first 3 months been?
So far, so good. You know, it took a minute to kind of get a handle on the formula versus breastfeeding and get that down pat. But his levels have come back pretty good the past few weeks. So I think we're doing well. But he keeps, you know, growing and his levels keep changing. They're never really too consistent. So we're just trying to, you know, figure that out. So, but everything seems to be going good so far. He's growing. He's like in the 98th percentile for height. So he's a pretty big boy. So
one of the things I found with PKU babies, and the dietitians I'm sure will interject if I'm wrong, is they're all really well fed. They're all, if you like a chubby baby, the PKU babies are the chubbiest genre of child that exists.
Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a healthy kid.
Well, good. All right. I don't know your name. It just says USA LTUG TU.
Yeah, that's me. My name is Tuğçe.
Okay,
so,
Tuğçe.
Yeah, I am the marketing manager for VitaFlow US and Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so actually this is my first New Parent Cafe, so I'm very excited and happy to be on this platform.
Okay, good.
Tuğçe is here as my support, and if needed, just, you know, with tech and all that delightfulness, but also to experiences.
Mhm.
All right. Well, Nicole, you are going to get like white glove personalized service today. As of right now, you're the first and only person who's joined.
Okay.
So there was nine families registered. It must have been a bailout. So that happens, but you're going to get every question answered for sure.
Awesome.
For sure. All right, let's take our next step.
All right. We do have also some vendors on to share about some food and formulas that are available. So I'm going to turn it back over to Grant to introduce our vendors.
Sure. So each vendor is gonna spend a couple minutes telling you what they do. Like everything in here is a tool. Like our website is a tool, and the board is a tool, and the vendors are tools, and the dietitians and the social workers are tools, and you have to use them all, right? And it's good to know them all. And the more people you know, and the more things you know about, right, the better off you'll be. And normally in New Parent Cafe, when we're not doing this on a computer, they have stuff for you to try and things to take home. That won't happen today, but it's good. It'll be good for you to know what each one of them does. So I'm going to start with Cody Carter, if that's all right with you, Cody. So Cody is a specialty territory manager with Nutricia North America. Cody is new to Nutricia, but excited to be here and help out families with all their medical and formula needs. He resides in Shorewood and has his whole life. Loves outdoor activities. Big Bears fan, and thanks for having me. So Cody, why don't you take it away?
Yeah. So I'm relatively new to Nutricia and the metabolic world in general. So excited to be, partnering with all of you and learning from the families and, the struggles that, you're going with your patients. But ultimately, here to be a partner and service families as much as we can, providing formula and medical food. I'll go over more if we discuss our PowerPoints, but
this is your time, Cody.
Oh, okay. Didn't know if we're doing a quick intro. Would you like me to?
Yeah, why don't you roll right into it?
Yeah, I'll share it, and I won't have to go into too much detail, but just to show you a quick snapshot of says host disabled participant screen sharing.
That is not true. Allow participants to screen share. You should be able to share.
Nope, it's not letting me. Let me see if there's something else I can do. Nope, it's still saying host disabled participant screen sharing. Oh, that's awkward.
That is, well, all right, just while we're here working with technology,
yeah.
Miriam, can you see if you can share your screen? And then we'll see if it's.
I just tried and I can't either.
Okay.
Yeah, wow. I can't share.
This is a first.
It's a technology world. Nothing goes smoothly.
Yeah. Did you print out your slides? Let me see what I can do. This is the first time this has happened. Every other time it's worked fine. Okay.
It's working now.
It's working now. Okay, sorry about that. I apologize. Cody, you should be good to go.
Oh, no worries. All right. All right, you able to see my screen?
Yep.
Wonderful. So I'm Cody Carter. I'm with Nutricia, and I've been here about 3 months now. So I'll go through this relatively quickly, but just a little bit about us. We're here for you. We're here for the patients. That's our main priority, our main goal. NUTRICIA is all about advanced medical nutrition, research and innovation, global presence, and being more than just a formula. We want to be here as a helpful partner. So we're here supporting you and your family to live life to the fullest through metabolic nutrition backed by science and comprehensive support program like our NUTRICIA Connect. So here's a quick snapshot of our PKU PERIFLEX PHENYLADE essential formulas. So the infant formula that we provide is PERIFLEX Early Years. So it contains DHA, ARA, and prebiotics, and then some other products that you would go through after early years would be our PERIFLEX Junior Plus, which comes in plain, vanilla, berry, and orange flavors. PERIFLEX LQ, which is a ready-to-drink container that comes in berry cream and orange cream flavors. Then on to PERIFLEX Advance, which is available in unflavored and orange flavors. And then PHENYLADE Essential Drink Mix, which comes in cans and these packets here, available in unflavored chocolate, vanilla, orange cream, and strawberry flavors. So we have quite a variety of flavors for your patient's need. And then our ever-growing popular GMP formula product line, our GMP ready. And as you can see too, it says the ages of who they're approved for. So these formulas here are approved for ages 1+. The GMP ready is a ready to drink formula. Then we have the GMP drink mix, which comes in a can and packets, available in vanilla and orange. And then probably our more versatile GMP mix-in, which comes in a can or packets. This is really great because it's easily mixed into flavored drinks, sports drinks. It mixes well into PKU formula or foods low in protein. So essentially, it's an unflavored mix-in protein that goes with just about anything. So real versatile, real easy to use, great for baking and mixing into foods as well as flavored drinks. And then our newest product here is GMP Ultra, which is approved for ages 3 and older. It's our low volume formula protein, 20 grams per 36 milligrams, or 20 grams of protein equivalent. Comes in lemonade flavor with only 98 calories and a vanilla flavor, 107 calories. So this is our newest one. Lemonade's great to be mixed with, you're drinking on its own or mixed with iced tea. The vanilla one, great for coffee, great for just drinking on its own for a little bit of sweet flavor. And then to our less to drink amino acid based formula, we have our PKU Low Flex LQ for 4 and older, PKU Low Flex Powder, and then our more classic branch that we still hang on to, the PHENYLADE 60 drink mix, which is 60 grams of protein equivalent per 100 grams, PHENYLADE 40 drink mix, and then the XV Maximum. So with what NUTRICIA provides for assistance as far as finding coverage or reimbursement, we have a free of charge assistance program for patients. Essentially, either the clinic or the patient will reach out to NUTRICIA Navigator, fill out an easy form, and they'll help navigate and exhaust all avenues of finding coverage or reimbursement for a family for our products. And they keep you in the loop. They do all the legwork, and they let you know what they find. So just a nice assistance for not only your clinics, but also for the patient as well. And you can see this by going to nutriciaconnect.com and click on formula coverage. And then here's some more on how to get connected with NUTRICIA. So you can visit us at NUTRICIA Connect. We have different social communities, inspiring story testimonials that you can read up on, disorder education. You can subscribe to receiving emails, formula samples, low protein, living blogs, recipes, etc. There's a lot of this on our sites. NutritiaLearningCenter.com is another great resource to use where you can find webinars and other helpful information, and find our formula line as well, if you didn't memorize everything that I just went over. So thank you. I appreciate, you guys having me on, me being new to NUTRICIA and being new to the PKU community. I'm excited to learn from all of you, and I'm here to do whatever I can to help service you guys and be a resource. So thank you for having me, and please let me know if you have any questions.
Thanks, Cody. You unshare your screen?
Yep.
Okay. So Nicole, any questions? Because I only have to talk to you. So far, so good.
Yeah, no pressure, Nicole.
The only question I had was about kind of that unflavored formula. Is that something just like mix in with water and then it just tastes like water, or how does that work? Yeah,
it can be the mix-in you're talking about, the one I was talking about. Yeah, it's flavorless, and it's I mean, with water would be fine. It would, it would change the texture of it, but real great for mixing in with any other drink that you're drinking, iced tea, sports drink, whatever, to keep that same drink and keep that same consistency while getting that protein equivalent. And then it's great for mixing in with food too. So it real versatile, really goes with just about anything that you want to use it with.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Nicole.
We did have one other person join us. Amanda, can you unmute yourself?
Hi, hello. Yeah, I'll start video too.
Okay.
I have a little guy running around here, so I don't want to be too distracting.
That's all right. We got little guys. Everyone knows what a little guy is.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, Amanda.
Hello.
So,
Yeah.
Amanda, everyone, before you joined, everyone did introductions. So I'm not forcing you to do it, but we would appreciate it if you did.
Yeah, no worries. So I'm Amanda. We live in California. This is little Neil. He's the one with PKU. He's
Okay.
21 months or so right now. So yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right, well, let's go to the next vendor. So if it's all right with you guys, I will move on. Margaret, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, Margaret Hovland has
Let
been a
me-
registered dietitian since 1992. She works for Angiomoto Cambrook, and in the last 5.5 years has been the Upper Midwest Territory Manager. Margaret supports clinicians and families as they investigate using Cambrook products for optimal nutritional management. In her free time, she enjoys the outdoors in Minnesota, the food and music scene in Minneapolis Metro. Margaret Hovland,
Yep.
take it away.
Yep. Okay, I'm just gonna share my screen here and pull up my documents. Hold on. Okay, so can you all see this, the Cambrook history?
Yep.
So for Amanda and Nicole, I'll just go through real briefly. So Cambrook has a very unique history in that we were founded by a husband and wife team that have 2 children with PKU. So their names are Cameron and Brooke, hence Cambrook. They put the name together. And really it was came from Lynn's frustration. This is well over 20 years ago, trying to feed her children foods that would keep them satisfied and healthy. So she literally started this company in her kitchen and investigated all different kinds of ingredients and how to make the most nutritious and palatable products. So if we look at the timeline, it started roughly at the year 2000. And then she started with introducing, various baked goods. So we started with breads and went on to different baking mixes. In 2004, we have the introduction of some different meat alternatives. And up to current time, we have many, many different items. And then starting in 2006 was really the forward motion into the formulas. And of course, the amino acid formulas were the only ones that were being utilized at that time. The Camino Pro brand was started. It is no longer available, and I'll talk more about that. And then as the years progressed, starting in about 2010, Cambrook was the only company that decided to commercialize a formula made with GMP, and this was through research done by the University of Wisconsin. The version that Cambric uses, our brand, is called glytactin. So we take GMP and then we modify it in a certain way to make sure that it is healthy for optimal growth in humans. And we have the most expansive line right now featuring glytactin on the market. And then up through current time, you can see starting in 2017, we were acquired by Ajinomoto, which is a Japanese company really known for amino acid and other ingredients for final products. So we're very fortunate that we can take advantage of their research and development team. I think they have 1,100 or 1,700 or something research and development scientists working for them. So we're very fortunate that we can take advantage of that. Okay, and I thought what I would do is just go through some very basic things. Let's see here. Oops, technical problems. Okay, here is our nutritional lineup, or excuse me, our low protein food lineup. As you can see, we have many, many products. Let's see if I can scroll. Well over 100 different products. Now, for your children, if they're under the age of 1, it'll be a little bit of time before you can utilize some of these. We have different pastas using the Aprotein brand, lots of different starchy items, breads, breakfast bars, that kind of thing. If you look here, we have Brooklyn dogs, beef burger patty mix. These are all some of our meat analogs that have been developed. And then as we scroll down, see, we have many. Lots of convenience foods as well. So we have something called Go Pockets in different flavors. We even use some low protein cereals. It says, so you kind of get the idea here of what we have, but lots and lots of items to choose from. And one thing that I can assist you with as you start introducing solid foods to your child is to help you understand which are the most popular ones out there, what gives you the most value for your dollar, all kinds of things related to that. Okay, we do also feature a booklet. This is called Just Nourishing Your Child, and it's a booklet that talks about introducing low protein foods. You will also be receiving this information from your clinician, but this is just a nice handy booklet. We provide this in our low protein food kit, which you would get from your dietitian if they wanted you to, get a little sample pack of different things that are available. But lots of neat tips, how to incorporate the proper fruits and vegetables. There's even a discussion in here about pouches. And Anne Kozak, if you're into you have knowledge of feeding therapy, how pouches can affect the feeding mouthfeel and all that of a child. Anyway, and then we talk a little bit also the Cambric items that are available for use in a low protein diet. Okay, and along with that, we also have this is when I was talking about our value items. Now, luckily in Illinois, you may have access to some food programs that you can tap into. There's been a little bit of change recently with that. However, a lot of families are able to get some good coverage for their foods. If you are going to pay out of pocket, however, this gives you an idea of where we're at with cost per serving of some of our, what we call our staple items. I think you should have these in your pantry at all times because you can mix and match them and make many, many different nutritious meals by just adding vegetables and fruits. Okay, and then one thing we've introduced recently, and again, this will be a while before you get into this for your child if they're that young, but this was actually an idea that was given to us by a mom in Chicago who uses a thermos, a food thermos, to cook our short grain rice. And we go through a nice handy basic recipes on how to do it, but you're just basically using a food thermos and then the magic of time and heat to cook your rice, and it turns out perfectly every time. And I seriously have not met anyone that doesn't like it. So we can even make like a low protein pudding, rice pudding here at the bottom. And depending on if you can if you need to push calories with your child or not. This one is extremely high cal. So us normal, adults, we don't want to eat a lot of this, but for kids, depending on where they're at, sometimes this is what you need to push some calories. Okay, and then I'm just going to move on briefly to this concept of GMP for formula base, and then how glytactin fits into that. So again, as I mentioned, the Paulelas were able to take GMP, and the researchers studied it several times, tried it in humans to see how growth and health labs turned out. And what we came up with was the optimal blend of the GMP plus some free amino acids to what we call glytactin. And that is what we put into our PKU formulas at this time. So Lynn summed it up. Lynn Paulela, founder of the company, she says she is grateful for amino acid formulas because they saved her children's brains. But now we have this, it's almost nutrition 2.0. There's a new compound that can be used for formula that also not only helps the brain, but also can help other parts of the body as well. And just to show you kind of a brief overview of our line, we have the most extensive line of glytactin GMP products on the market. So the things that are appropriate for toddlers, which you'll be dealing with sooner than you think, our Buttermilk product is a powder, and it's really versatile. It's original, which means it doesn't really have a vanilla flavor. It's just what we call original. It's just very mild. It's meant to be like milk. It also comes in a strawberry and an orange cream. And then we have the Buttermilk, what we call in the ready to drink version is RTD. We have that in the original and the chocolate flavor. And we have those both in a 10 and a 15 PE range per container. And then we have, based on, what you need it for. So we have some lowest Phe products, and this is our newer version of glytactin that's lower Phe per gram protein. For convenience, this is great for school age teens and adults. The RTD, we have a product called Build, which is really just a stripped down, very little in there other than glytactin, few vitamins and minerals and some fatty acids and some vitamins and minerals to make it work, carbohydrate. And then we have complete bars, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Restore liquid and powder, which is kind of like Gatorade almost. It's meant to be almost a hydration drink. And with the flu season coming up and with COVID, we recommend you have a little bit of these restore items on hand in case your child does get sick. It's easy to feed this and still get protein equivalent into your child. And also you don't...
Margaret?
Yes?
I don't mean to interrupt, but you're running on the back of your time now.
Am I? Okay,
Yeah.
I'll go real fast. The one thing that would be appropriate for this age, when you get to the point where you're going to introduce some solid foods as well as formula with your child over the age of 1, we do have a kit called Buttermilk for Breakfast and Build for Breakfast. And your dietitians can order that kit for you and work with me to have your child try some of those. Here's what's in the kit: recipes, a little sippy bowl. You can use the Buttermilk as their milk, plus some of the options for breakfast items. Okay, I'll leave it at that since I'm going over. Is there any questions for me?
If you can unshare your screen, we'll get the audience back.
Okay. Sorry, long-winded.
Thank you.
Let's take any questions so far?
Just a quick question. So for all those products, is that all directly ordered through Cambrook, or is that ordered through the state? How does that work?
The formula items will be available through the Illinois State Program. So I believe all of them are on there. Shouldn't be an issue. For the foods, it will depend on if you qualify for any state program, DSCC. If you do not, we can investigate insurance coverage and I can help you with that. And if neither of those options work for you, then it would be ordering direct from Cambrook. Or you can go to Lil's, which is Lil's Dietary Shop is in south part of Chicago. you can go there, and Marcy has pretty much everything we have. Yeah.
We hit
Yeah.
lists once every 2 months, kind of with the fist of an angry God, it seems. But it's great. It's a great resource to have. So,
Yeah. And can I just say one thing, Grant?
sure.
So the Division of Specialized Care for Children is when she's at DSEC, because they can have some coverage for food if you're eligible. Also, the National Organization of Rare Diseases just this summer in June started not only a COVID relief fund, but also they can cover up to $800 of low protein food from any of the distributors, including Lills and Carebrook. So it's nice to have. I have the phone number, which I could put in the chat room so that you guys have that as well to see if you're eligible for NORD.
Does that answer your question, Nicole? Okay. All right. So I'm not going to do bios anymore. We're running out of time. So Miriam, you ready?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Grant. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for allowing me to participate and be with you here today. Before we get started, I am going to be dropping a web link in the chats box for you.
Miriam, you muted yourself.
Here we go. All right. So I am dropping a web link in the chats box for you to interactively follow along with me, or you can watch as I demonstrate our VitaFriendsPKU.com website. I want to keep with the interactive nature and spirit of today's gathering. So I'm going to be sharing my screen with you. So bear with me one moment while I get there. All right, so what you'll be seeing here, hopefully, is the VitaFriendsPKU.com website. This site is for individuals like Amanda and Nicole who've joined us here today, caregivers of those with PKU, as well as for those with PKU themselves. This site will hopefully be a one-stop shop for folks to be able to gain access to product, formula information, recipes for formula, as well as low protein foods and some other additional resources. So just to start you off, I'm going to kind of demonstrate where you'll find formula information with regards to VitaFlow USA, which is the organization I am with. And just to kind of give you a quick background, I have been with VitaFlow about 6 years. Prior to that, I was with the Lurie Children's metabolic team as a metabolic dietitian. So when you get to the VitaFriendsPKU.com website, you can go to the tab related to products, and you'll see all of the PKU formulas for availability here. You can get to specific product features and kind of get to know them better. What I want to focus on today first is PKU Explore. PKU Explore is really the first and only semi-solid medical food or formula for PKU from the age of 6 months that has a spoonable consistency. So at the age where introduction of solids will be happening, perhaps you'll be familiar with some of the foods, the baby foods and things that they'll be starting. This is a formula that you can introduce at that time because it's designed to be made into that spoonable semi-solid texture. Again, given the limited nature of a virtual world, I will try to bring a little shot for you to see, but hopefully you can see as I bring my spoon and cup closer to the screen. It is a product that is spoonable. It is formula with vitamins and minerals and DHA. PKU Explore 5 is unflavored, as that's in line with what the baby with PKU is used to with their PKU for infant formula. And as I mentioned, has vitamins and minerals as well. So moving along, we'll just kind of show you what to expect through the life cycle on this page. You'll be able to kind of see different ages and stages of life, and perhaps what formulas from VitaFlow you can perhaps consider and obtain samples for and have discussions with your clinic about. The other thing I wanted to share with you is PKU Sphere. PKU Sphere is the GMP product from VitaFlow, a glycomacropeptide, as you've heard before. It is a low-phe powdered GMP formula for PKU, and it's designed to be made into a low volume formula or beverage. You can make 1 packet of the PKU Sphere with just 4 ounces or a half a cup of water. It has 3 different flavors in the PKU Sphere 20 packets: chocolate, vanilla, and red berry. We also have recipes on the vitafriendspku.com website. If you go to the recipes tab, you'll see options for formula recipes, some new recipes, in fact, related to PKU Sphere, the formula I just mentioned, as well as some other low protein food recipes here for you. So that is another way for you to kind of get some ideas and see what's out there and available to you. From a interactive nature, we have this really fun food balance game. You can use counting protein or counting Phe. I have little Johnny on the seesaw here, and you can designate how much Phe you want to kind of focus on for that meal. And it's a really nice.
Marianne, we have about a minute left.
Okay, and this allows you to kind of have an interactive way to reinforce the clinic's education for you and for your child so that you can play with that game as well. Lastly, I wanted to share with you ways that you can perhaps stay up to date on all things VitaFlow. So I wanted to let you know that you can certainly follow up with VitaFlow on social media. Specifically, if you go to the Instagram handle at VitaFlow USA and Facebook VitaFlow VitaFriends. In the Zoom email you received from the organizers, you should see the sample request form, which you can fill out, and I'll get authorization from the clinic for any samples that you're interested in. You can use your smartphone and the QR code to get to the online sample requests as well. And then lastly, I wanted to share with you, we have a new product coming soon. The PKU Sphere liquid, which you'll see is PKU Sphere is the GMP product from VitaFlow. This is liquid, and you'll see that it comes in vanilla flavor in a resealable bottle. So stay tuned for that. Again, if you follow us on social media, connect with your clinic, they can definitely share more information with you. Thank you again for allowing me to participate and for your attention.
Sure. Look what we did to Jack.
Thank you, Marianne.
We put him to bed. Well, all right, Shannon.
Yes. Good
Can
morning.
you hit us with some energy?
Okay.
Wake Jack up. Probably we shouldn't wake Jack up. We shouldn't.
Probably not. No. I would want to wake Jack up. Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for having me. So I'm Shannon Rittenhouse. I'm with GALEN Medical Nutrition. We're new to the medical nutrition space, but not new to PKU. So I'm going to share my slides here with you all. Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay. See if everyone can see the slides here. I put them into slideshow. Can everyone see the slides?
Yep.
Wonderful. Okay. So as I mentioned, GALEN is new to the medical nutrition space. We're a pharmaceutical company with a global presence, but not new to medical nutrition. So I'm one of 2 members of the medical nutrition team. My colleague, Ashley Park, is a metabolic dietitian and was practicing with Emery and Ronnie Singh for a number of years before she joined our team. So learning a lot from her and about the community. And I've been working with PKU patients and families now for about 2 years with these products. So we have a number of products, and a lot of the products that we have are for older children, but we do have a couple that might help Jack and Neil here and when they get a little bit older. But I'll walk you through those today and some of our best sellers that we have. So our first one that most people might recognize is the PKU Easy Micro Tabs. They're our most popular product. They are teeny, teeny, tiny little tabs. I don't know if you can see my screen here, but they're like the size of a Nerd's candy. So the great part about these is they're super convenient, really low in smell and taste, and it's because they have a special double coating on the outside of them. So 1 capful, which is going to look to be about this big here, is equal to 10 grams of protein. And it's indicated for patients that are 3 and older. So even the small ones, what they'll tend to do when the kids are trying it is they will put the microtabs into applesauce in order to keep it together while they're learning how to eat them and swallow them whole. Now, we don't want the kids or adults to chew these tablets, because that special coating them will be dissolved if you chew them, and it will actually release the amino acids into the mouth. So we'd rather you just swallow them whole. But people do find them really convenient, and perhaps in addition onto your current formula regimen, if you're struggling with something like the amount of volume that you're getting. They are a part of the formula program through the state of Illinois, so you're able to purchase them there as well. So that's really helpful for a lot of families that are looking to use the microtabs. I mentioned about using the applesauce with them, and we do send out a little convenient jar as well, so you can just pop them right in your bag and off you go. So it's really helpful for people if you're taking your formula at school, you're on the go, when we're all able to travel again, throwing it into your luggage, and is TSA compliant. Our other product that we have is the PKU Shake and Go. So the orange flavor kind of tastes like a pixie stick. It's one of my favorites. It comes in a pre-measured bottle like this. And it's actually, there's no liquid at all in there. It's all dry powder. The best part about this is really, again, convenient on the go. This is equal to 15 grams of protein. All you have to do is fill it up with your favorite cold beverage, orange juice or water, shake, 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 and then drink. And it does have a little bit of an effervescence to it. So if you're interested in something that tastes kind of like a Pellegrino or a seltzer, usually patients really tend to like this product. And then our last one is PKU Go. So this is our toddler product and weaning product. So this is available for children at age 1 to 10. It is a complete formula, so it has all the vitamins and minerals that they need, and it's equivalent to 10 grams of protein. This one is one of my favorite products. It does really well to mix into cold drinks, especially something like grape juice, apple juice. I snuck it into a little bottle of grape juice for my husband to try it without telling him to see if he'd taste it, and he didn't. So I took that as a good sign. So if you were interested in using this with your child, you could certainly mix it in liquid, but you could also mix it in something like applesauce or low-fee pudding in order for them to try it as a snack as well.
All right, 1 minute.
Okay, so again, these are all of our offerings that we have. Happy to help you guys in any way that you need along this PKU journey. And again, thank you so much for having me here today. Really appreciate it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. So any questions about that before we just start talking?
I just have a quick question. And sorry if this is a dumb one, but because we're so new to this world, for like those microtabs and the other kind of supplements, is that in addition to the formula that you would be taking in multiple times a day, or would that just be instead of that formula? How does it work?
Yeah, sure. I can speak to the microtabs. The microtabs there's complete formulas that have vitamins and minerals, and there's incomplete formulas that do not. The microtabs do not have vitamins and minerals in them. So if patients decide to switch wholesale over to the microtabs, which we do have, GALEN will then provide a multivitamin and then a vitamin D supplement or whatever else your dietitian would recommend free of charge for you. So we find a little bit of both. Some patients decide to use this as one formula replacement throughout the day. So they'll use it maybe for like their school formula or something, you know, at the end of the day, if they're in sports or something like that. And then we have others that prefer to use it wholesale. So it's really dependent on the patient, dependent on you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Amanda, any questions?
Not right now. Sorry, I missed a little bit because my internet.
That's all right. It happens. I saw you pop in and pop out. So the rest of the time, and we'll take as much as you want. I have to take down my outdoor pool today, so I'm willing to stay on this call for 6 or 7 hours, as long as I don't have to do that. But you know, so Nicole, you're in. So Amanda, your son is how old? 13 months? I couldn't hear.
21 months. So
21
yeah.
months. Okay, so almost 2.
Yeah.
So we all have kids at various age ranges, and what I found was, you know, like, do you want to know what's coming up? Do you just want to talk about today? Where do you want to take this? It's an open question to you and Amanda, Nicole and Amanda.
Yeah, I think we're curious about what to expect in terms of like, what's he going to be able to eat once he starts on like purees and solid foods? What's going to happen when he's 5? You know, it's just these things we like think about daily. It's just like, what are the next steps? Like we've got the kind of formula breast milk thing down, but what's to come? Those are the things that like we kind of worry about. So
Right, he's gonna have a bib on soon before you know it.
yeah. Like, you know, is he going to be able to get enough nutrients and calories, and is he going to feel full enough if, you know, the food he's going to be consuming is limited. So I just want to get some insight from people with experience and kind of what that looks like for the first several years of life.
Do you plan on making your own food to start, like your own peas and carrots and applesauce and whatnot?
Yeah, to start, I think we'll be doing that. Yeah.
Okay. From that, do you have what are those little tiny mixers called? The what are those called? I forgot. Like you used to, when we used to make individual margaritas before we, had kids. Bullet, Magic Bullet.
Oh, yeah.
I recommend, if you don't have one of those, I really recommend getting one.
Okay.
That's, it's a good serving and it doesn't involve bringing the entire blender out. But
Yeah.
My wife made all of our kids' food. And what's nice about it is you can control everything, right? You can control every single aspect, how it's seasoned, what you put in it. And it helps a ton. And it helps them really get to like vegetables because we can put, as much butter in that puree as we want.
Yeah.
But Megan, did you cook food for your kids?
I didn't. We used applesauce. Even we started, I think, with canned green beans because they were really soft. I boiled the heck out of some carrots, but I didn't really make their baby food. There was, I don't know that they have it anymore. Was it from NUTRICIA? Maybe the cereal.
Oh, it was LP Fruity. They have that still.
LP Fruity.
Yeah, my 8-year-old still eats LP Fruity.
Oh,
so
really?
that's like a low protein oatmeal.
Yeah, that was we depended a lot on.
But there's like every vendor. Well, not Shannon, but every other vendor we buy food from because Shannon doesn't really sell food. She sells, but we buy the Mix Quick from Margaret, and we make chocolate chip pancakes like 3 days a week. And we get the cereals from NUTRICIA, with VitaBites from VitaFlow. So like I use every single one of these vendors almost pretty much over the course of 4 or 5 days. I'm sure everyone has reached my child's mouth.
I'll add, so we have some hot cereals that are newer into our lineup. So you'd want to check those out. We have a cinnamon and also a vanilla hot cereal. It's almost like a cream of wheat texture. And then what we've been teaching families lately, and this will be appropriate for your age kids eventually here, is you can make our Mix Quick waffles and actually put baby food veggies into the mix. So our push is to really maximize the nutrition, what you are getting. Generally, the low protein diet can be fairly high in carbs. So we want to make sure the carbs that you are consuming for your child are healthy carbs, more vegetable based, higher fiber type things. So you can work with your dietitians if you want some ideas around that, because I'll be talking with them about that.
So Amanda, this is a topic we were discussing at our last board meeting. It might be more relevant to you. Is Neil on drinking from a cup now?
A little bit. We kind of had a hard time transitioning him from a formula so much in the bottle, just like the baby bottle.
Because I can tell you, we spent thousands of dollars on cups. It's like this never-ending trying to figure out what cup is the right cup. So I would, when you're trying something new and he doesn't want it, it might be the mouthfeel in the cup. So be prepared to allocate budget and resources to finding cups, because we went through 10 or 15 different vendors before we found the one that we use every day.
Yeah, same here. We did a lot of this going from a bottle to a sippy cup wasn't working because the bottle, I guess, went so far back, and so that flavor was there. So what really worked for us is going right into a straw. So all of both of my kids both have straws in their cups, and we went from Contigo to we have the thermos ones too, but it also depended on, I got bigger ones then because I was trying to put their formula all in one instead of keep filling it up. And it was then ended up being about the texture of the straw, like Grant was talking about. So now they like a harder straw, like the Contigo. They don't like the soft ones. My daughter will just chew it up, kind of thing. So,
So-
definitely an experiment with those.
Right. It is you will get frustrated, but just be prepared. That's going to happen. Like there's nothing you can really do about it. Katie raised her hand. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, everyone. So, Nicole, you had mentioned one of your concerns about just making sure that nutritionally that they were getting everything that they needed, and the formula and working with your dietitian were sort of maximizing nutrition in a way that probably most kids are not sort of fine-tuning their nutrition at their age. So he's getting everything that he needs with the metabolic formula and everything that you're doing to keep his levels within range. And then once you start solids and adding things into that, then it's sort of just maximizing the intake and having him try a nice variety of foods like fruits and vegetables, and just sort of trying as much as possible. And then something that recently I found as a family who they are doing really well with formula and foods, and levels are great. They transitioned from bottle to cup with every other drink except for formula. Part of it, I think, is the comfort aspect of drinking formula from the bottle that they're used to. Formula is sort of now like a comfort for them. And we did try the PKU Explore to get more of the formula in the front of the mouth, and using those taste buds to sort of activate and get used to the flavor of formula, and it's working really well. So I know a lot of the formula companies do have like the gel pudding type products. We chose Explore, and it's a tool that has helped and can be used for that reason to help out.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll just add that speaking for the PKU adults here, we're all very jealous of all the variety and options and tools that these little guys have right now, because this is all stuff that we didn't have 20, 30 years ago. And so I'm really excited to see everything that that these guys are going to be able to enjoy.
But in making food, like when you start making carrots and peas and whatnot, like put some flavor in it. Don't be afraid to use spices. And I'm not saying, make cumin and cardamom, but, like salt and pepper, just to make it taste better. They'll get a much better respect for vegetables and fruits if they're cooked really well. I don't know about you, Megan, we use a lot of butter in our household for extra calories, and heavy cream as well. So we can put heavy cream in potatoes and butter, and we have toaster waffles from Trader Joe's by relatively low fee.
Yeah.
The gluten-free ones. The gluten-free ones specifically.
2 kids with PKU, we shuffled through 4 different formulas because one takes 2 different formulas than the other one that's on 2 different formulas, and their formulas are completely different taste profiles. So they have a very different taste buds and what they like. My daughter likes everything everything that's pickled, everything with tomato sauce and tomatoes, and she'll eat pickled mushrooms and all of that.
Yeah, my son loves pickles. He's a huge fan.
But my son won't touch any of that. He likes crackers and bread and butter, and he's everything that's carbs, and my daughter's everything that's pickled vegetables. So we kind of pull on what their flavors are and what they like to kind of season their fruits and vegetables the way in which they enjoy them. And they are big fruits and vegetables eater. We did use a lot of Gerber baby food and such. Like I said, we didn't make theirs, but we've never had a problem with fruits and vegetables. My daughter requests salads for her lunch that she normally eats. And my son will use the Cambrook wraps and make little wraps with, and he likes, you know, mayo and cheese on his. So you kind of get to see what they start to like, and like Grant was saying, like flavor them the way that they enjoy them and they'll eat it for sure.
Amanda, what's your son's favorite food?
I feel like it switches every day. You know, there's like weeks where he'll love bananas, and then the next week he'll hate them. Weeks where he'll love like waffles, and then he just rejects them. So kind of cycle through.
It's whatever you spend $100 on is what he hates that day.
Yeah, basically. I think some of our staples, kind of like when he was really little, we gave him a lot of beech nut jars and kind of those little vegetable jars just because they were easier. And then now he's a little older, we give him a lot of like sweet potato, mashed potatoes, bananas, applesauce. I think that's one of the hard things, is trying to give him more variety, because we tend to stick to a lot of the baby. It's something that's hard to chew. He is a little bit lazy and doesn't really want it. Waffles, pancakes, and stuff. A lot of the Cambrook products we make him. Toast with Biscoff and jam, he really likes. That kind of stuff, I think, are his big staples. So
Biscoff and jelly sandwiches are a big hit in my house.
yeah, for us too. We like them, even though we don't eat them, but it tastes very good.
So, I mean, coming at like Christmas is coming and the holidays are coming. I don't know if anyone's going to be allowed to go anywhere, but, you know, is there something, Nicole and Amanda, that you'd like to make for a holiday? And Nicole, you'd be right at the cusp of eating solid, semi-solid foods. Do you want to know about while we're here on the phone, while we're here talking? Like, I'd like to make him this.
I think that'd be something really good to talk about. I guess everybody's experiences with like big meals like Thanksgiving, where the typical base is turkey and all these other foods that traditionally you don't really pay attention to the protein content until you get somebody who can't have that. So it's going to be a big change in families' meals as to what they usually eat. So,
well, I'll tell you what we do, and I'll let Megan interject. Like, we obviously have potatoes, right? Oh, thanks, Margaret. Take care. Margaret has to go. We have, you have potatoes for everybody. And then we make my wife makes stuffing for him out of that Cambrook bread. So we'll just dry the bread out and then put the rosemary, salt, pepper, whatever, and then put some little vegetable stock and then bake it. So he has his own stuffing. And then we'll have sweet potatoes, and we'll have green beans. And so my wife's a vegetarian also. So we have a lot of dietary interesting things that are going on in our household. So we'll still make a turkey, but like everything else in the house is pretty much applicable to eat for our PKU son.
Yeah, I do love Thanksgiving, because I do feel like it's one of those meals that there are a lot of options for, our kids. We're always a big thing we pretty much do it probably about 3 to 4 times a week, is just cut up a whole bunch of vegetables and throw them in the oven with olive oil and some seasoning and have roasted vegetables. They also work out good. Brussels sprouts in the air fryer. My daughter loves
cauliflower.
Yep.
A lot of cauliflower, broccoli, roasted root vegetables. The fall is great, especially throw vegetables in the oven.
Anything they could put, my dog could put tomato sauce on, she'll eat. So any of those squashes. And then, like I said, the canned cranberry sauce even, so they normally are kind of one plate eaters, but like Thanksgiving, we have our sweet potatoes. My daughter won't eat mashed potatoes, but all the different kind of vegetables that we have and cranberry sauces. And this year I'm going to try, I saw a recipe I don't know if you're on that parent closed group for PKU on Facebook. There's lots of pumpkin dips circulating all around I'm interested in. I have yet to try those. So still pulling new recipes all the time.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Nicole?
Okay, thanks.
Talk about kind of what it was like to, what it is kind of like to have to kind of count everything and measure and all of that. Like, does that ever go away? Is it something that we're gonna have to do forever? What's, in terms of like what he's eating?
I would love to answer this because I'm a very anal person. So
I'll give the counterpoint when Megan's finished.
Sue's probably out here. If she's still out here, she could talk to my, I used to, everything down to the gram, to the 10th, I would write it down and my menus and I would submit them in. It was like, I'd count and if something fell on the floor, I used to be borderline a freak about it. It is so different now. My kids are like, is it 5 and 6? Their levels have been great. I am now like, I make their menu every week, but everything's, I kind of guesstimate a little bit because my kids do eat very healthy. We don't eat a lot of high foods. I am trying to put some more high fee foods in there because their levels has actually been a little bit lower. But yes, there's always that aspect of of measuring and monitoring and everything, but it does get easier where you're not so, at least it's become a lot easier on me, of being such a freak about things.
So Nicole, do you watch baseball at all?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you see like the umpire calling balls and strikes.
Yes.
And like 99% of the time he's right. Right. And the reason he's right is because he's seen 12,000 pitches. Right. So at the beginning, I bet he was only right about 40% of the time. And that's why they want everyone to write everything down. And it was like, at the beginning for us, we were like hyper apoplectic about it. And it was like, I had 40 different spreadsheets with 3 pivot tables going. It was something. Yeah, we'd weigh what fell on the ground. We would weigh what we thought fell on the ground. If some powder fell on the scale, we tried to figure out how to weigh that too. It was ugly at our house. And like we would try to figure out how much formula he didn't drink and add that to it. And now we're fine. I know what this amount of broccoli is worth. I know what this amount of fries is worth by looking at it. I know what this amount of sweet potatoes is worth by looking at it. I know he can have this much of anything. I know how much Biscoff to put on the bread because I've done it a zillion times. So at the beginning, you should write these things down. It's important to write these things down so you get the practice to know exactly what does 50 grams of fries look like? What does 100 grams of fries look like? What does 100 grams of cauliflower look like? Like, you don't know. I don't know. I didn't have to know, right? And so eventually you just know, and you're like, this is how much you can have. And then when it it starts to elevate, and Megan, your kids are probably doing this too. We get a lot of backyard activity, and it goes up. Like the more active you are, the more feed you need. And so you also have to. It's a little bit of calculus. Like this is what fries look like, if he didn't do anything today, and this is what fries looks like if he did. So, but you just over time you just get to know it. But it's important at the beginning. And I'm making my pitch for this because I'm terrible at dietary records, but it's important at the beginning for the first few years to be somewhat diligent about it. Now, but not to the point where you're freaking out, not to the point where it's adding, you have to take heart medicine because of it. That's not worth it. But it's good to know because you eventually, when you've made the 1200th meal, right, the 1500th meal, you'll know exactly what all of them are. And you'll be able to map out the day in your head, the week in your head, really easy.
Yeah, so I'll show you. This is like what I use for my kids' menu now. I type it up every Sunday, and it's more of just like a plan. Obviously, we go off of it, but as you can see, there's no measures or weights on there because I know, like Grant's saying, you learn what a handful of tomatoes is, or how much fries are and how much Biscoff to put on there. So I don't sit there and put the bread on the scale anymore and weigh it. It is more like an estimate, but it's a very educated estimate because I've done it so many times. But that was, again, from years of measuring every little grain of everything. So,
but if little kids eat 4 times a day, right? You're making 1,500 meals before he turns 2.
And to Grant's point about, not sweating too much about the little things. When I was growing up, we didn't have digital gram scales. We didn't have spreadsheets. We didn't have apps. We didn't have a lot of those tools that help make this a lot easier and more precise. So don't let it get to the point where it just is all consuming. You're worrying about being off by this little bit or whatever, because I think the umpire analogy was really good.
I even tried to game the system. I asked the dietitians, like, so if I give him this, how many hours before the blood stick would I need to know before, so, and they wouldn't answer it. They still haven't. But like that's how it got in. It's a wormhole, right? You pull yourself out. It's not worth it. What else?
Do you find that it's easier to like meal prep for the whole week, or do you cook kind of separate meals every day? What's kind of the easiest thing?
Well, the easiest thing is what works for you.
Yeah.
Right. We don't do that. We don't have, well, it's 2020 has been a rough year. My wife's had back surgery, and then she was down for 4 months for that. And as soon as she started feeling better, she broke her foot in 3 places. So we're in the middle of that now too. So we would do a little menu planning and work that out. But that was more for grocery shopping, because when you have a family of 6, freezer space and refrigerator space is somewhat precious. But
Yeah.
now I don't know. It's harder to do for us for the week. I'll let Megan interject, and then Nick and Sean as well.
I don't meal prep for the week. I do the menu pretty much just because, so, I leave for work and then my kids are going to school or they're with a babysitter or something, and then I come home. So I use it as more, a communication guide, and it helps me like, okay, if I have something really high on there for dinner or they have a light lunch, then I know that they need a heavier dinner. It just kind of helps me organize. But again, like you'll see a lot of crossed out things on here and whatever. Like last Wednesday, I was going to make them zoodles, but that didn't happen. I got home late, so they ended up having eggs and waffles for dinner. But it gives me something now, like, okay, this was something they have, so I have to make something around that kind of feed category. I do their meals at night for the next day, like pack their lunch, everything, just because I have limited time because I leave early for work. Days I don't work, I don't do that. I kind of just go with the flow. So like Grant was saying, kind of what works for you and your schedule and what's comfortable. I just don't have the time in the morning to do it. And we do have multiple people that help. So.
And a lot of PKU food is somewhat like manna, right? It doesn't last all week. Right? It's got a short shelf life of when you get it out of the package to when it's not worth eating anymore. Katie raised her hand, and I'll let Sean interject too.
Hi. So for like the next step for starting solids and for your family, the dietitians will work with you and tell you we're going to start with a small amount, and then that sort of helps with the learning curve of counting, because you're going to start with a certain amount, and so you'll find what foods fit into that allotment, and then it kind of grows from there. So you start slow, and I think it helps with the learning curve. And some families will pre-package, like meal prep different fee serving sizes. So like 15 milligrams of fee servings or 25, and freeze them, and so that they know, okay, if they're gonna eat half of this, then I kind of know what the amount is. And especially if there's other family members that are going to be involved with feeding and taking care of can, I think that's also, it helps with them kind of knowing they're not going to have to necessarily weigh out everything and have gram scales at their houses, but at least, you know, they have the foods that they can say they had half of this 15 milligram serving and kind of make that part a little bit easier. But if it is kind of fits right with your family to weigh everything and have everyone weigh everything and sort of mark it down as soon as it's going into his mouth or not. I mean, it's totally whatever your comfort level is. But I think, like Nick was saying, like there's a lot more tools now available to help make it more precise. But I think that there's still wiggle room for kind of a little bit of margin for error in case there's a time where maybe they took more than you expected them to, and now it's like, what do you kind of do? And it's going to be okay.
Sean, what's your world like in meal planning? You're a busy med student.
Yeah, so I'm pretty busy a lot of the time. You know, there's not really a whole lot of time to kind of spend a bunch of time figuring out what I want to eat. Megan, I think, made a nice point when she was just speaking about how, like, if you meal plan and you know you're going to have something low early in the morning, it gives you more leeway throughout the rest of your day. Or in reverse, if you have a meal which is a little bit higher in Phe earlier in the day, you can like plan for later at night to have a meal that's lower in Phe. And especially with a young child, I think that could be really helpful when you're still kind of learning how to adhere to that diet and trying to figure out which foods your child likes, especially given the restricted diet that they have. I think it can really be beneficial. For me personally, I still kind of do the fly by the seat of my pants, figuring out my meals on a day-to-day basis. You know, over the summer when I was on summer break, I would just kind of like wake up at 9 a.m. and be like, all right, what am I going to have for breakfast? And then figure it out as I go. But it's definitely helpful if you're on like a time restricted schedule or something like that to plan your meals out in advance, especially when you're kind of like teaching yourself how to, when you're like learning the diet.
Nicole, you had posed the idea of, is this going to be forever? And these guys are lucky now because it's possible that this is really only going to be a big deal until they're 18. I'm on Palynziq, and I've been on Palynziq for 2 years now, and they are right now it's approved for ages 18 and up, I believe. But I had to do the PKU diet until I was 32 years old, and it's possible that these guys are only going to have to do it till they're 18 before they can start liberalizing their diet and getting I'm pretty much on a normal diet right now. I don't I count protein instead of fees just to make sure that I get enough protein in every day, and my levels are lower than they've ever been. They're at normal ranges. So, it's probably not going to be, a lifelong thing for them.
It might be less than 18.
Things will change.
Depending on how the gene therapies are going.
This is Sue. So we are doing some teens. We're doing off-label.
So we're doing
Palynziq.
off-label, we're doing teenagers too.
Mm-hmm.
I think in the next 10 years, like I don't see my son going to college having to have a PKU diet. He's 8 years old now. I think the next decade's going to change so much. There's so much going through third stage clinical trials right now. Something's going to stick. And there already is, if you're 18, you can do what Nick is doing, and they're even doing gene therapy at that company. So, any other questions?
Just kind of out of curiosity with the Palynziq, can you speak about like your experience with that? What it's been like? Was it a transition? Just kind of how that all worked and continues to work for you.
Sure. Yeah. It is a transition. I have been luckier than most in the fact that I have not had any kind of side effects or reactions, because there are some potential for those. I do have to carry epinephrine with me just as a precaution, but I've never had any reason to use it at all. personally. However, there are many people that that have had some side effects and things like that. I do take some allergy medication to prevent that, because the Palynziq is a plant-based enzyme, and so it's a long transition period to get your body used to having that and not treating it like a foreign substance, which is why some people get allergic reactions to it. But for me, it's been really easy and it has changed my life. It is amazing. Some people, it's interesting because people respond to it differently. There are some people that do 160 milligram injection every other day and can eat 70 grams of protein. Me personally, I'm kind of on the other end of the spectrum, where I'm at 85 grams of protein a day and have to take 3 60 milligram injections a day. But I would never go back. As soon as I started liberalizing my diet and they kept telling me, you know, we're going to try to do another, add another injection, I'm like, I'm all for it. I was hesitant at first about, you know, the injections, but it is so worth it. So, you know, I hope that things will only get better for these guys.
Thank you for sharing that. That's really helpful. I think one additional question I have about that, which I haven't really been able to get answered, is about kind of like the cost of Palynziq, and is it something that's covered? Is it not? Is it? And if this is too personal, you don't have to answer.
No. I'm happy. I have not had to pay anything for my medication. It's all been covered by insurance. So it's yeah, it's really easy. Never had a problem getting refills or any kind of financial issues related to the medication.
Okay, that's helpful.
Nicole,
Mhm.
at Lurie, we have a big team that works on that and make sure that the insurance is approved before we would actually ever start anything. And then like our nurses are great at making sure that there's always, like, the refills are there and ready to go. So sometimes in the beginning, getting it set up, there's a little bit of a hiccup, but they go to bat and they fight until we get the answer we want, which is yes. They'll cover it.
That would definitely be kind of a fear, is if, you know, he was able to do the Palynziq or the Kuvan or whatever, you know, that might be that for whatever reason he's on it. It's great, it works, and then that would be a huge kind of fear for me.
Yeah, I share the same fear, and the BioMarin rep was pretty honest, saying if something happens, right, we'll give it to you.
Right.
To
They're good
manage
about
the transition. They want you to have the treatment, right? They want you to stay on it forever. They'll do everything they can. So it's a concern. They do a lot of. You can find out what it's going to cost your child relatively soon. Like BioMarin will investigate your insurance, tell you what it's going to cost. You can talk to the team at Lurie, and that'll at least give you a baseline to figure that out.
Yeah, and I give all the credit for how easy it's been for me financially to Lurie and BioMarin, because they've handled all that stuff. I haven't had to do any of it.
And if you look at the BioMarin earnings calls, and I'm a nerd enough to listen to those, it's relatively speaking, it's about $120,000 a patient per year. That's what the revenue they're trying to achieve. Now, who pays for that, right, is up to a whole bunch of moving parts. But if there was no insurance and this was an open market, that's what they'd be charging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, also from the social work side, because we also help with insurance. So BioMarin has a Rare Connections program. So there's a woman named Nakia who helps you navigate that, and they have an assistance program. And then NORD, the National Organization of Rare Diseases, which I put on the chat, also can help if you're eligible.
All right, we got to make this a last question event. So Amanda and Nicole, you can both ask one more question, then we got to go. I'm getting yelled at.
I don't think I have any more questions, but you guys have been so cool. Thank you so much to everyone for taking the time this morning. Really appreciate it.
Amanda?
Yeah, I guess I'm going back to kind of the food prep and everything. So my general question is, right now we feed him something different from what we feed us, but from everybody's experience, is it kind of better to make meals similar to what everybody else is eating, kind of change your diet because he's vegetarian, or just stay away? The real world, you're going to have to experience people who eat differently from you. Like, what is the best way to kind of approach all that?
We approached it in a you're eating something different. Because if you go out to dinner, like, the kids are going to order from the menu. And so it's just good to, in my opinion, it's just good to be honest. Just say, this is what you can and you cannot eat, and to give them, I think we lost Amanda. Oh no, there she is. But to make them self-aware. And I know there's people who have augmented, and I will say we eat differently for sure than we used to, because we used to order out more, and we don't as much as we used to. You know, now we make more food in our house. And we certainly as a family eat more potatoes than probably most on our block, because we'll make it and everyone will eat it. And we certainly eat a lot more vegetables though than anyone on our block, because we're making it for one. You make a bag of vegetables for one person, making it for 3 other kids, like, it's the same amount of effort. So actually, I think the kids who don't have PKU are eating relatively healthier diets than they would have otherwise. But, you know, we still make ribs, right? And I have a big green egg smoker. Like, we do all of those things. But we're investigating. I'm going to smoke some squash, right? So everyone can have it. But it is, we never made the conscious decision to say everyone has to, you know, lower the common denominator to that. It's just different. And there are days when, you know, the kids are having hot dogs and he's having fries, and that's that.
Yeah,
We do approach it the same way as well in our household, is that's just what you eat because that's what's good for your brain. And, you know, they understand that now going to school, and when they get their own snacks. My view was, you know, if you see somebody in a wheelchair going down the sidewalk, I didn't stop walking or sit down because I didn't want them to feel bad. So I'm not going to do that for my own kids, and stop, you know, because that's not realistic in the world to stop doing something because they can't. Understanding and recognizing differences is important, and having them learn and understand their limitations. So we kind of just, you know, like Grant says, we eat lots of vegetables in the house, but we also eat meats and everything else, and we tell them what it is and that we eat it because, you know, it's good for our brains, but you don't because it's not good for yours. And that's just how we've always messaged it to our kids.
Sean and Nick?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. You know, growing up, my parents, whatever kind of meal that we were having for dinner, you know, there would always be like some sort of meat dish involved, but I would just eat everything that my parents had prepared for dinner except for the meat. So it's like I'm basically having the same meal as the rest of my family except for the ribs or the hamburger or the chicken or whatever it is. And I think that was important just because, you know, with being born with PKU, it is, you know, a different lifestyle, and that's important to recognize. You know, as much as we want to say like, oh, there's like no difference between us and somebody who's born without this condition, that's unfortunately not true. And it's important to recognize that, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And I think that, you know, I can see how it can be supportive if like your entire family kind of like conforms to the individual with PKU's diet. But I also think it's helpful for that child to learn.
I mean, it's unhealthy for non-PKU kids to have a PKU diet, because the PKU kids are getting protein from the formula.
Right.
Right. The non-PKU people still need protein. That's just a fact. So I think it's unfair to everybody. Does that answer your question, Amanda?
Yeah, no, that was all really helpful. So thanks everybody. Yeah, I think that's lots of good points. So.
All right, we're gonna sign off here. This has been really fun. Thank you. This recording will be converted and shared. If you have any other questions, let us know. We're going to have another event in 2 weeks. It's with Dr. Sean Christ, and he's going to talk about PKU in the brain. Nick has probably already sent the email out for you guys to register for it.
It'll go out this afternoon. Yeah.
Sean is one of the foremost experts on PKU and how it affects the brain, and it's a worthwhile presentation to attend. But thank you for your time today. Thank you to all the vendors, and thank you to the social workers and dietitians from Lurie who took their time out today. And thank you for attending, Nicole and Amanda. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care.
Bye-bye. So much.